Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, Italian Arawak, and this is my love and relationships show where I take your questions about any relationship under the sun, deliver out answers for you, can tap into other people's energy, the nature of the relationship itself. And if you don't have a specific question, you could just leave it open-ended. Something like, I want to know what my future love life looks like. All right. But I do ask that you include the first name of whoever it is that you're referring to, at the very least, the initials of whoever you're referring to. And for tonight's show, this is unlimited, so you can ask about as many people or situations as you like. Any type of relationship goes. And this is our first love and relationships show after you guys voted this in with the test shows I was running at the end of 2025. This got a huge level of engagement from you guys, which I totally appreciate. All right. So love and relationships is officially added to the 2026 show lineup. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Who do we have first? Okay. Anna Teresa. Anna says, I am single, no prospects, as I am working to heal and break my own unhealthy patterns in romantic relationships. Do you see me continuing to progress in a healthy way and meet someone of value? Yeah, you have two separate soulmates, and one karmic partner, which I'm never going to recommend, in your future. Okay. And then it looks like two other soul tribe members. So it would be best for us to hit those soulmates. We want to be involved with people we have contracts with. So we have three different kinds of contracts. You can have a soulmate contract, a soul tribe contract, or a karmic contract with people. And there's no such thing as twin flames. Okay, that's a 100% made up myth. But the closest thing to the twin flame idea, which is sort of a torturous relationship, is the karmic partner. Again, which I never recommend getting involved in for too long. Get in and get out. All right. But the ones that are of greater value here, the two soul tribe and the two soulmate, I would prefer always to see you choose, and it's up to you. There's not the one coming in. There's no the one. We get 5 to 6 soulmate options, a bunch of other potential, contract people over the course of our life, but we are designed to use our free will to choose who we want to be with. I would suggest one of these two soulmates, of course, because a soulmate contract is a work contract. It's a nicer agreement. It suggests that two people are coming together again because they did this repeatedly in past lives, and that in this life, they want to have an opportunity to really fully develop the relationship in a romantic way, but also as a way to build whatever it is. It's growth, it's lessons, it's self development, but not just with like identity or character and integrity, but also like money, life contract work, all types of things. So you do, yeah, you have a couple. And I think that, you've got a powerful one here where you could potentially be set up already with them at 5 years out from now. I know a lot of people hear that and they're like, 5 years, but think of the last 5 years and how fast that went, and think of how quickly, time moves. And that's not to say that you won't meet them before that. But like I said, you could be set up with them by the 5th year. I see it peaking in the 5th year, which suggests to me that you guys at that point are having your first significant opportunity, or we would say pivotal point, to build something, establish something longer term. You could call that a marital contract, cohabitation, monogamy, whatever you want. So, that doesn't just pop out of the box that way. Just because I'm seeing that in 5th year, like something had to lead up to that. it's debatable on when exactly you're going to meet this person. It does have a lot to do with whether or not you're doing the work on yourself. Like you said, you're in a healing journey. I don't want to sugarcoat. You have a lot of work to do there, and the universe is not very lenient. There's some stuff your partner is also working on, including what looks like a divorce. This is going to take some time. All right. So for now, focus on you. Keep doing the healing work. Allow your heart and mind to stay open. And this person may be opposite your regular type for sure. Physically, mentally, even culturally, which you may be drawn more toward, like people of other cultures for the next few years. And I like that. Lean into that as well. Thank you, Anna. We are going to move on to another one. Next one coming in is from, and also, if I didn't already say, if you guys are making a payment and it doesn't match your social media handle, be sure to let Diana, my producer, know so she knows what payment goes with who. It's hard to tell sometimes. Nothing matches anymore. And a lot of profile pics are like a cat, so she's not going to know. Mackenzie Mackenzie on YouTube. How will I know what partner is right for me? I feel like I've always chosen the wrong people to date. Okay, that's a great question. Is that the whole question? I'm assuming so. Okay. I feel like I always choose the wrong people. How will I know the right partner for me? Okay. So you know the right partners for you because you don't have just one right partner. You know the right partners for you based on how they make you feel mentally, energetically, and physically. So, I guess you could say emotionally, but emotions are kind of junk. I really find them to be more of an obstacle to truth than anything. And if you think of the way your emotions have caused you to choose wrong in the past, blame them. Okay. Blame your emotions for everything. Try to keep your emotion out of it. I would even suggest, because you could be madly in love with someone. You can have all the right astrology. You could have all the right synergy, chemistry, sexual connection. You could be intellectually stimulated by them and absolutely in love with this person. You just adore them. And things are so whack in the way the dynamics, aren't balanced, or they're stagnant in their growth, or whatever happens. Maybe they've got some like mental problems, or they're like a, low-key narc or whatever. I mean, there are so many things that could go wrong, and you will let your emotions drive you toward that person, right? Just desperately hoping that it works out. So don't fall for that level of unfortunate deception that your own feelings can put you into. But instead, pay attention to whether or not you feel that you have a regulated nervous system when you're around this person. You are able to feel some butterflies, or maybe, you're enticed by them or you're intrigued by them, but you're not overwhelmed by them. You're not consumed by them. You're not constantly thinking of them. You're not overreaching with them. You're not having a desire or a determination to make this thing work out. No. When you are able to say with someone, I appreciate this person, I adore this person, I'm intrigued by this person, I'm feeling it. There's something here for sure. They hold my attention, but I also just want the truth. Whatever this is meant to be, I'm going to honor it. I'm going to honor the contract. And you have to be able to do that in your own life with a lot of things first. Okay, so practice that. I would also say that for you specifically, I think you're going to feel, once you've done more work in these areas, saying that with anything in your life, you just want truth. You're not going to be overreaching with anything. I think that you may find a couple people you're very compatible with in your life contract. So I want to say there are 3 different soulmates that come up with you. One you won't be meeting. You feel young to me. I don't think you'll be meeting the third until you're in your 50s. Now, what that can mean is that you want to be kind of careful with contracts, like government contracts, okay? Because if you get married, you get locked down, your soulmates are still going to come into your life and you can't explore that. I like to keep it free and open, all right? I can do what I want, when I want, with who I want. I just want to honor the contracts. But, you know, some people like to lock it down with a government paper. Well, that could be a little difficult for you in the way that these are lined up, with possibly your biggest soulmate connection coming in your 50s. So you have 2 coming in before that, and it's whatever you choose. I think that some of these are looking to be the right ones, but I could see where they end up falling short on their self-development. And anyone who isn't working on their growth and change and learning and working on becoming better partners in intimacy, they are going to be stagnant in those areas when you meet them. And that's going to be a no, unfortunately. And a lot of soulmate connections end up being a no because there's one person lagging or both people are lagging. And unfortunately, when you meet, you can't just do like a game of catch up. You know, it's just going to be a no. It's going to have to be a no. But I think that you are going to feel, again, very regulated. That's going to be a huge thing with you. And you're going to feel for the first time like you're not overreaching and trying to control the relationship and twist it into something more than what it actually is. All right. I would also do a cord cutting for many people because you have a pattern that you've been attracting. That's going to be your first step working toward this, to be ready to receive this next person coming in here. But get rid of any attachment you have to codependent tendencies or certain people who are, what's the word I'm looking for here? Emotionally detached or emotionally unavailable and manipulative. Like they know they're not ready and they're feeding you a line of BS telling you that they still love you, or maybe they are ready or they'll try to get ready. No. If they're not ready, they're not ready. That's it. That's it. We don't care why. We don't need to know. And we don't need to hear their spiel about it, especially if you have any indicator that you've attracted people who are manipulative in this. So they're telling you exactly what you want to hear. Keep your cards close to your vest. But yes, this looks good going forward. Yeah, I think you're learning a lot. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Thank you so much. You know what? I forgot also while Diana is pulling that up, could everyone please give this video a thumbs up and give it some hearts, share it, especially if you know of someone who's going through some relationship drama of any kind, family, friends, coworkers, whatever, lovers, marital. And drop a comment of any kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm, but especially where you're tuning in from. I would love to know. Angela Noor is next. Angela Noor on YouTube. What do you see coming in my love life? Okay, so future love life for Angela Noor. Future love life. You actually seem to have somebody coming in. I wonder if this is work related. 6, it feels like, you know, like taller. I want to say like 6'6'1". So I want to say someone who's like bigger, a larger individual. This person carries a lot of masculine energy. I think that the work related, is this like delivery? I can't tell if this is a delivery person. This feels to me like this is someone who would be coming through your workspace, but not staying long. I don't believe they're staying for like meetings. You know, it's more like I'm dropping things off. And I am under the impression that, and I'm seeing Legally Blonde. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. Hilarious. But like in Legally Blonde, there's the scene where she's getting her nails done and her nail tech is obsessed with the UPS guy and he's obsessed with her. And she's like spilling shit all over the place. And she's like, you know, a nervous wreck, but like they're talking to each other, but it's so brief. They really can't get anything going. And you got two professional situations that could seem inappropriate, okay, to even push it. So it just like isn't ever really going anywhere, getting off the ground. Anyways, that's the type of scene that may come up with this. And this person I'm seeing dark hair, light eyes, bigger nose, like maybe like that kind of bone, you know, in the middle there that I don't want to call it an arch. I don't know what it's called. I don't know, a big nose. And this could be, you know, sometimes in reference to like them looking a little more ethnic, which I think you're really attracted to. You want to see a little, you know, you look at someone's face, you look at someone's body, you want to see a little culture, you want to see a little history, you want to see a little like, you know, we don't, you know, it's like you don't want to be with someone who's just washed out, you know. There's a dynamic look. That's a good way to say it. There's a dynamic look to this person. They also seem to be, I see the engineer's mind, so they're really good at fixing things, understanding how systems fit together, and they may be doing that professionally as well. This person seems to sort of want to sweep you off your feet. And there's a lot of talk of you needing to work on your self-empowerment right now. So if you're in a place right now where you're like, I don't really know, whether it's you don't feel desirable or you don't really believe that anything will work out, or you don't believe that you're going to meet like the one, which makes sense because again, there is no such thing as the one, but you don't seem to really think you're going to find someone who is wanting to put in the same amount of work as you. And you know at this stage in your life that you have to choose you. So if they're not, that's going to be a no, right? No matter how much you want it or care for them, it's going to be a no. If they can't bring to the table what you're bringing to the table and or more, you know, it is something you seem to have lost faith in. And I think you may want to work on that for a while. Write down, make a list. Okay. This is just a bit of a collective message for anyone tuning in here tonight for love. Write down 15 things. I have my clients do this. It works like a charm. Been doing this for 15 years. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. 15 things on a piece of paper that you are not hoping, not asking, not praying for, that you are claiming in a love partner. And these should be specifics. Hair color, eye color, body build, you know, what they're like in bed, what their character is like, that they have integrity, what they would do in a situation. You know, if I had a flat tire, you know, they wouldn't just send AAA, they would also come down there to get me, details. And none of these 15 details should be about what you don't want, about your loser ex, about what you never want to experience again. Keep the negativity out of it. You know, fold this up, put it in an envelope, put it in a drawer, okay? Put it in your dresser for 6 months to a year, and then open it up and check it out. I have done this myself personally at least 3 times. I just did it actually a couple months ago because I was debating on coming out of 4B. I ran right back into it after recent weeks, but whatever. After years of being in 4B, I just did this a little bit ago, and within 48 hours, I bumped into the exact person I ordered. It was insane, down to his outfit, down to like what he did for work and his beliefs. It was ridiculous. So, you know, we all want to have an idea of what we want and understand that you don't want that thing or want that person because it's some fictitious dream or Disney fantasy. What we want in life, from work to relationships to self-development, is all because it is already written for us. It's part of your life contract. And we want things because we know it's in alignment, all right? Not the other way around. So have faith in that. But yeah, I think you need to get a little more specific here and do a little trickery, you know, so you can get your faith back. And if you don't want it when it shows up, you don't have to take it. But it's good to know it's out there. All right, let's go on to someone else. Who else is dropping their question here? Abby Hicks. Abby Hicks on YouTube is next. It doesn't say anything. What's the question? We'll go back to that one. There's no question here. Marade 1024. Marade. Hi, Ivy. Can you please tell me what my love and romantic life looks like in the next 2 to 3 months? I do not plan to go on any dating apps anymore for the foreseeable future. Okay, 2 to 3 months, no dating apps. You trying to kill me here? God. Let's see what we can pull off. Organic meetings only. What can she do? What's good? This is better. Holy shit. How does this look? Well, how does it look better? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you've ever been on the dating apps, you know, what a ridiculous clown shoes performance of okay. So what you have here are better options doing this organically and less stalking, which is really nice for you because people seem to be watching you. We won't get into it today. I don't want to waste your time on what we don't want. Okay. Positive energy, what we're claiming. But when you meet someone organically, it is easy for you because you are highly intuitive to read them, to understand them, and they can't do anything creepy like watch you from a distance, right, for months or years and then reach out and act like they weren't. So there's not that bizarre, like, what's being hidden here type energy. It's raw, it's fresh, it's fluid, it's transparent, and it's nice. I think this is going to be uplifting. With uplifting and refreshing, the two things I'm really getting with this, I'm also seeing you drink, I don't know if is this a margarita? Maybe it's a margarita, right? A little sugar or like something with like it's like yellow, a little salt on the rim, or, you know, are you in a Mexican restaurant? What is going on here? I'm just going to put it this way. You have a few different options, but for meeting some of these people that are of greater value, but they all seem to be near food. So I don't know if you're a foodie or, you know, I mean, they are for sure. They all look a little bit similar too, where they are either a little bit of meat right through the midsection here, just a little bit of belly, or they work out a lot. And so they're kind of big in through here, like weightlifting and stuff like this. You could also meet someone at the gym, a blonde at the gym. And it looks like 2 to 3, it looks like two guys with darker hair. And it looks like one with like a sandy brown or like a lighter brown hair. I don't really care for the third person. But, you know, you could do what you want. I think this is going to be important with that person because they may actually be really enticing. I think just remember that if someone shows you who they are the first time, you take that first red flag as the last red flag. All right. The universe is going to be testing you a little bit for the next few months, 6 months. Okay. I know you're asking for the next 2 to 3 months, but 6 months, you're going to be tested. So if you backpedal, and you know the first red flag is the last red flag, but you're going to entertain it a little bit, you're going to suffer the consequences of that. Okay. And we are immediately sort of demoted energetically. And so whatever we're in alignment, that's what you start to attract. And I would like to see you on this higher vibration. 2 of these people and the guy at the gym, I think there's potential here. Guy at the gym, if he's going too slow, you know, making a move on. But I have him watching you from behind equipment. It's like, I think the conversation, whether you're in a restaurant, you're in a bar, I think a couple drinks would help. All right, I'll leave it at that. The one guy seems really, really talkative, very intelligent, very knowledgeable about everything from like politics to current events to, I like this one. I like this one for you. He's down to earth, but he also has money in the bank because he does well at work, but both of them honestly do well in work. Okay. All right. So we do have some movement. Get yourself out there. Keep yourself out there. Have fun. We're going to move on to another one. No. Is Mary? Oh. Angela has a comment here. We'll get to comments and like feedback as we go. Diana's pretty good about that, but she also wants to kind of make sure we're getting as many of these answered first. So I see some funny stuff popping up here. Edgar Velardes on YouTube. Could I please get a love prediction for the next 3 months? Okay, there's something about a 3-month kick. Here we go. All right, 2 in a row. Edgar, 3 months. Would be nice if she was a therapist or in a similar field. All right. Well, I'm not a magician. I can only read the energy. It's up to you to manipulate. So if you want a therapist, put that on your list of 15 things that you are claiming. You want someone who is in, the healing arts, and you may want to even get specific on that. You prefer clinical healing arts. It works. I've ordered a couple of those people, and yeah, they've shown up. So let's take a look at the next 3 months. 3 months for Edgar. Who's coming in? What's good? What's good to work with? What's good to work with the next 3 months? Someone seems to be coming in near your workspace, and I want to say your living space, but on a bus. Now, the bus can symbolize the struggle bus. And I think that with this person, and I'm kind of wondering, like, do they not drive? Are they not in struggle mode, but they don't want to drive? If you live in a city where there's nice public transport, there's no need to have a car, but I feel like with this person, there are some unresolved issues. Let me just put it that way. And there is a sense here that you could therapize this person and sort of ruin it a little bit. So just be careful. We're not looking for wounded healer syndrome. If you have a pattern of wounded healer syndrome where you attract people you can fix, you can parent over, you can therapize, you can mentor, you want to pull way back, okay, on that type of energy where it's like, I have no desire whatsoever. I think that would be wise. All right. Now, because with this person coming in, they may appear to have more struggles than what they actually do. They are quite well equipped to continuously heal and evolve and to grow. And they plan to do so. So you may observe from a distance for a little bit until you're sure it's safe. And that's fine. I do see dark hair, brown eyes, sort of a round face. Like not, you sometimes see people with a real round face and you're like, oh, are they chubby? And they're not really chubby. It's just their face is that shape. And so there's something different that it's like a little unexpected surprise. She may have cancer significantly in her chart somewhere, not a cancerous condition, like cancer, the sign. In her big 3 or in her, I like to call it the big 6, right? So Venus, Mars, all the things, right? So there's some cancer energy there, water sign. And you seem incredibly compatible. And there is someone else who is sort of the opposite from that, that you may be bumping into, but not having an opportunity to talk to. It's very in passing. This person has long, thin fingers, like beautiful hands. Like she could do hand modeling. She may do her nails as well. I mean, I see her nails done, but that doesn't have to mean like acrylics per se. But I see beautiful hands, whether her nails are done or not. She has these sort of long beautiful healing hands, which does suggest to me, I want to say both of these people look to be in the healing arts. However, the first one that I see is a little bit cold and detached and may not come off as much of like a healer necessarily, but she does the work and she gets the work done. She helps a lot of people. And longer, you may have a type, but like longer brown hair. I see layers. Sometimes she's kind of putting it up and clipping it up or up in a bun. I think clipping it up. I see a clip. And sometimes glasses, sometimes not, sometimes contacts, bigger lips. I see like pink lipstick, which can mean she's not wearing any lipstick at all, or sometimes it's like natural tones, and has interest in you, but certainly isn't going to be making the first move. Okay, so the banter between the two of you may be really good, but it's fast. She's here, she's there, she's very, very active, and you would have to make that happen. And I don't know. You seem uncomfortable. I do wonder if this is someone at work, because you seem uncomfortable about it due to the environment. So we'll let that unfold, see where that goes. All right. Thank you, Edgar. Good luck. And who is next? Angel Raven 2816 says, I hope you don't mind me asking. You say twin flames don't exist, but is there a soulmate on the other side that you never met in this life? For you? Is this a paid question, Diana? Or is that just like... it's just a comment? Well, I don't know. I'd have to look. You could book a love reading, or you can like ask that as a paid question. Is there a soulmate that you don't have here? I'd have to look at that. That doesn't happen for everyone. It did happen to me, but that doesn't happen for everyone. And no, twin flames don't exist. I have a ton of videos out on this. So twin flames are a man-made myth that popped out in the last, I'd say 5 to 8 years. There's no proof of it in astrology. There's no proof of it in numerology. There's no proof of it through mediumship. There's literal no proof whatsoever. It was a money-making tool that some mostly tarot readers came up with a few years ago, and they made a fortune. They're still making a killing off of it. It basically was geared toward women to convince women that they were half of a whole and that they should keep trying with this person who was like abusing them, neglecting them, was emotionally unavailable, and it's wreaked havoc on women's lives. There is no such thing as a twin flame. Also, because the universe does not design us as half of a whole. We are whole in ourselves. And it just fed in, and it continues to feed into all of the desperate codependent desire to have this fairy tale love that completes us. No, it's not real at all. And all of the torturous things that go on with it actually fit into karmic partnerships, which are real, which is karmic debt owed. Okay, for anyone who wants to get more educated on that too, go up onto my website. I have a class called Karma, Contracts, and Past Lives, where I break this down. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. All right, we have a question from Mindy, aka Love and Beloved. She says, what reading comes through related to my early childhood relationship with my birth mother, Frances Marie? Okay. We've spoken twice by phone in exactly 40 years. Okay, where's the rest of this? Kidding on the future with her. Oh, a reading on the future with her. Future. Okay. You're very welcome, Mindy. Well, first of all, I'm choking. So, your birth mother and you both have karmic debt to one another and a very strong contract, with the base being a closed throat chakra. A closed throat chakra means that you have struggled or are struggling to speak your truth. And even when you have, you were probably disregarded, disrespected, nothing changed. This could also be a series of situations from birth where you have felt as though you were shut down, minimized, your self-esteem was attacked, until you become that brutal hand of judgment, that boot on your neck that shuts your own self down and closes up your throat chakra permanently. So, that usually happens for most people around 5 or 6 years old. It's really unfortunate. And I see this with both of you. So she would have gone through a series of events that were actually fairly similar to yours, when you weren't with her. So like this is your birth mother. You know, you weren't with her when you started to really be shut down with the throat chakra. She had, again, similar attacks on her from her childhood and past lives, both of you, even in past lives, you have been together. I want to say 5 times. I'm seeing 5 to 7 that were significant. So probably more than that, but 5 to 7 that were significant. 2 that you're working out currently in this life. So kind of wrapping some of that up in this life. And you're here to heal each other, to assist one another in clearing the throat chakra and being that loving support that you both need. I feel like it's important for you to remember at all times and keep clearing out any debate that you ever had that she loved you, because she really did for you what was best for you. You know, this was one of the ways she karmically did work hard on her throat chakra, difficult as it was, you know, to not be with you, but you needed better circumstances. She simply could not provide. So there's some real beauty in that. You guys were also siblings. I know this sounds a little gross, but you were married at one point. You've kind of done it all, you know. Your grandmother at one point. I have a grandparent to grandchild situation. You were a little boy. Trying to see if this is in reverse. No, that's you. You were a little boy. She was your grandmother. Oh, she raised you. Okay. So there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of good history here. It's just that some of the things that you guys have to work out, you have agreed to come together in this life with a bit more of a difficult contract. Okay. And that's okay. That happens sometimes. She may have always shown up also in your dreams, and you and hers. So sometimes when you have a bit of a difficult contract with someone you have a lot of power with, powerful connections with, you do a lot of the work in the sleep state. All right. And I forgot what the question was. Sorry, I'm rambling. Birth, mother, Frances Marie, second 2 conversations by phone. What does the future look like? Well, it looks like whatever you choose for it to look like. You know, you guys could take this in a couple different routes. You could also do nothing with it, but everything is provided for you two, is what I'm hearing from your guides and her guides and some ancestors and loved ones here who've been trying to push you guys together. Also, watch for pennies from heaven. Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, tokens. She's getting them. You're getting them. Pay attention to the numerology on those as well. It's a sign that the universe is like pushing you guys together again. But this reminds me very much, your life from here forward, if you get together, will look very much like a past life where you guys were sisters. And it's lovely. Okay, good things. She seems to be a little downtrodden. All right. So her energy may be very, very, some days just totally evaporated, like a little bit of a deflated balloon and distracted. Try not to ever take that personally. And it's also not your responsibility to overreach or caretake. Okay. Let it ride. Let it ride. Let's move on to another one. That's a really special relationship. You know, not all of our relationship stories are rainbows and butterflies every single lifetime. You know, but it's worth working on. YouTube, this one is for CJG. What do you see coming up for my love life? Okay. CJG. I just want to stop real quick and say to everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for voting on this show in 2025. It is now part of the 2026 show lineup. You are invited to drop your $10 donation and whatever question about any type of relationship under the sun you have, or you can leave it open-ended about the future of your love life or something else like that. And if you want to do this privately, you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. And also, please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind, especially letting me know where you're tuning in from, and please do subscribe. Also, if you could share this video, that would be great, because everybody needs it right now. CJG, what do you see coming up for my love life? I see a bit of a break. Maybe like 2 years where your higher mind really just wants you to focus on you. I heard construction and direction. Well, I heard construction and redirection. And then I saw the word direction. Okay, so construction and redirection, at the core, direction. Okay, so you may not know what the heck you want. You may, okay, I'm gonna go back to this. Write down 15 things that you want. If you want to go change it in a couple weeks or months, open up that envelope and change it. Okay. But you seem to not know what direction you want to be headed in regards to what type of love partner you want. And you seem to have a whole row of duds. Okay. I'm sorry. Ooh, it just is like, no, 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 no. Why are you getting so many no's? And why are you not a little bit more clear, again, on what direction exactly you want to go in with these people? Because you can only attract that when you're not clear. All right. So these are some questions you're going to want to ask yourself. Also, look back at this row of no's and even look at the hell no's. All right. And take a minute to make a list and sit with these people and look at the pros and cons. Make lists, because there were things in each one of them, as far as I can see. I don't have time to look real deep, but as far as I could see, there were things in each one of them that you actually did want, or that attracted you, or that held your attention. Now, some of this gave you the ick, and so you are done and you are over that, and that's fine. That's fine. We don't have to revisit it. But there was something, even if it was the way they made you feel. Okay, it's not all about them in these situations. It's often about how you felt when you were with them, or they desired you, or the type of connection. Even if it was malfunctioning, it still made you feel this type of connection a certain way. You need to make lists to get more specific about what direction you want to head in. I also feel when we're talking about direction, we are talking about the universe calling you out on the fact that you don't know that you want something long-term and serious. You don't know that you want someone like living in your house, dirtying up your bathroom, taking up your time and attention. When you're with someone, you may be more, even if you're trying not to and you're trying to live independently, you may feel like you lose some level of agency or autonomy in this, like you're sucked in. That may be causing you to say, I don't know that I want that. So you have to know exactly what level you want. This isn't like a general message for the public. I'm not saying everybody does, but you do at this time in your life. That's a requirement for you. And it's like you have no clue. You've also been redirected, I'm hearing. So you've been redirected the last 3 years over and over and over again. And at this point, you're just feeling like all you did was chase your tail and go around the mountain a few times. But that redirection was important. And I don't feel like you fully analyzed it. So let's ring out every lesson. Okay, let's really analyze what went on the last 3 years. And the first word Spirit gave was construction. This is coming mostly from your work, your relationship guide, although I did hear work and money guide first, and I do see a grandfather coming in here. So both, I would say both. Construction, you may feel right now this is an important time in your life to focus on career, on resources, on networking, on partnerships, on building and focusing on other types of relationships, because this row of duds that are behind you sucked up so much of your attention. Now, and this is a general message. So CJG, if you were to look at the rest of your life and be like, okay, there was a period in time when my family took up so much of my attention, or my children took up so much of my attention, or lovers took up so much, or friends did, it's like, this is a time for you to focus on work partnerships, business relationships, self-evolution, and partnerships in your life contract in that way. That doesn't leave a whole lot of room for like lovers to come in and just consume all of your time and like emotional and mental energy, because they do, even when you're not with them, they do. So it isn't the season, but I think that after that, And I would, again, it feels like for the next 2 years, you're supposed to be focused heavily on other types of relationships. You gave enough time to this. But I think that once you've processed a lot of this and you're more comfortable with that, you're more centered in all of that waiting period, so to speak, you may find that you are attracting someone who is very like DIY and very like romance guy and like, I got it, I'll handle it. You know, I'm coming in, like, you don't even have to ask. It's like, I'm coming in, I'm handling it. From like taking out your garbage cans to like getting your car fixed to booking the date at a restaurant he thinks you'll love, you know, to like a man, you know, simple adult things that he can do. And it seems to be really uncomplicated. Okay. So I like this for you. But we got to get ready for it. We're not quite there yet. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Who else do we have? Alicia Fulvey says, what do you see for future love and when? Like solid marriage love, please. Thank you. Okay, so future marital partner and when? I'm hearing 2 years. You could find yourself talking to someone where you seem to be considering this more. It does feel like you are going to spend the first 3 months, as everyone does, not really knowing who this person is. That's a given. And then after that, you want to give it at least 1.5 years, I always say, until you start considering this person really seriously, just to see what their patterns are, to know enough about their past. But I think that after you get past that 1.5 year mark, 1 year and 7 months going into the 8th month, we could be talking about something serious like cohabitation or merging of finances. This could look like discussing anything more serious that suggests even engagement. This person does seem to have some resistance to a government marital contract, rightfully so. I don't recommend them for anyone unless you know the rules of what that's going to do and what that's going to mean cosmically and literally. They have some resistance. I think that's coming from family where, you know, this person's relatives stayed together in toxic relationships. Like, we were together 65 years and that's how it's done. But they absolutely hated and despised each other and destroyed each other's health or whatever. And then he had the polar opposite where it's like maybe parents divorced and we saw that. It's just a kind of know this way and a know this way. Like, I don't want to get in because I don't want to have to get out. And you may have to learn to respect that while also voicing your own desires and opinions. And you're not going to be able to say to this person, look, I think you have some healing to do, you know, because they don't. This is a very realistic take on how toxic marriage can be and how it can destroy a healthy relationship. So it's kind of going to be on you. There's going to be some growth. I don't know whether you'll keep this or not, and I don't know if this person will decide to kind of roll with it and give that level of commitment. That technically all falls into a free will zone. I can only give guarantees on who's going to show up and, you know, when and what it's going to look like in a basic way. What you guys choose to do with it is up to you. So your free will, their free will. But it seems to check off all the boxes for what you want in every other way. And sometimes if it comes down to one man-made concept, like I want a government marital contract, you know, then we want to be careful not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we also want to not sell ourselves short. Okay? So there's going to be some work there. but that is someone you're supposed to spend time with for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they will just go ahead and give in to that. We are going to move on to another one. Okay. Who's this? Oh, CJG. This is a testimony. CJG says, thank you for the honesty. I completely see myself going in that direction, focusing on myself. Yes, 100%. And you are very welcome. And, you know, there are times when we're just supposed to be doing that. Not a ton of them necessarily, but there are times. And I think that it's in those moments of being with oneself, dating oneself, focusing ultimately on self-love 24/7, that we are able to attract a million different types of love toward us, because there's so much more above romantic love. Romantic love is the bottom of the barrel anyways, okay? And sometimes that's so fulfilling, you don't even think about the romantic thing, because sometimes it's like just not as good as all the other ways of love. Love and Beloved 5497 says, okay, this is also a testimony. Thank you, Ivy. You're right. That healing isn't always rainbows and butterflies. I appreciate you saying it like it is. You're very welcome. I'll have to go back and listen to that one. No. Healing can also take a really long time. And I think we all have this idea, you know, that it's like, if you go to therapy, you could speed it up, or if you do shadow work, if you do some kind of program, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm going to heal for this long, and it's linear and beginning to end, you know, and it just doesn't work that way. It's cyclical, and it is what it is. We have to take our time. It's not a rush to the finish line. We're going to go ahead and move on to another one. This is Nicole Whitehead on YouTube. Nicole Whitehead says, what does my future hold around a romantic? With so much romance tonight. What is going on, you guys? Romance, future. Okay. I don't know if you go both ways, but I see both genders, all genders, unicorns included, they, them, whatever, like being attracted to you. So a couple different things here to keep in mind. You could be, because I actually feel like you're straight. I mean, take it out resonates, but like, you know, sometimes you go through a period in life where you're going through a bit of a glow up. And even if you're not fully feeling that right now, you are presenting differently, like your body, your face, your hair, you're literally glowing. And it's not, sometimes when you're not feeling it per se, you don't recognize that what you are doing is like in a magnetizing way, sending out, radiating this energy that everybody wants to come and participate with or consume. So let's be a little bit mindful, okay, as we go forward about that. But you seem to be attracting absolutely everything. And some of these you're like, I don't go that way, or no, thank you, you know, but nonetheless, it's a huge compliment, and it is really important to always understand. I say this to my clients like a tick. Yes, it's important to do the self-development, have self-awareness and all these things. It is equally important to understand how you're being seen so you can navigate in the world that way. Okay. And that's always changing. I have to fix this puzzle on TikTok. Okay, there we go. So you are, you know, anyways, getting back to this, but I think that there's this desire that you have sometimes for one type of person or one type of affection or a certain level of attention that you can get that makes you feel really desirable. And you don't need that anymore. You don't need that, because if you pay attention, you are being desired. Okay. You are attracting, and this goes on like the next 3 to 6 months. This is going to peak again at 9 months out from now. You're attracting, you are desired. So having a sort of set idea that you must be desired by one specific type of love partner is not really where it's at. All right, on a universal scale. Pay attention to all the ways people are giving you things, offering you things, wanting to partner with you, be near you, talk to you, da 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 da. Liking your posts, whatever it is. Now, this ability that you have to release that desire for that one specific thing is where your power lies in attracting a higher vibrational romantic partner. I don't know that I would say this person is romantic at all, but it does seem like they're good at fixing stuff. And it does seem like they're really good at like making sure that you're okay. And they do seem protective, and they do seem to check up on you. And they do seem to have an attitude of like very sincere gratitude toward you, which is a beautiful thing, because often we go raise of hands, unappreciated in romantic partnerships, just they just bleed you dry. No appreciation, not seeing you clearly. And this person really does. And that includes in conversation with them when maybe you're holding space, you're being patient because they're trying to process what they're actually feeling or what they're thinking or what triggered it or what that's connected to. They're not fast. They're not good at this. And you just have a way of being very like, almost you're judging in your head, but you keep it to yourself, just sort of non-judgmental and just sort of sitting back and like, allowing it to unfold. And I think that this level of gratitude they have toward you is somewhat, this is a little weird, but like they sort of see you as like, maternal in some way. Maybe they have mommy issues. They probably have daddy issues more specifically. But that can lead to like a desire for like women to be very, patient or compassionate. Compassionate, is that a word? Anyways, with them while they're processing this. And I'm not saying this person is in therapy or dealing with it on their own. I'm saying that we have to at some point take our healing that's being done behind closed doors and take it onto dry land and get out of the deep emotional waters of the ocean and get on the sand and start walking the walk. And that's going to be you're going to enter. Okay, so it's like you enter the scene and this person is still processing things, but you're doing your own processing. I really do feel like you're ready to build though. Okay, so it's like I'm ready to build, I'm ready to level up, I'm ready to travel, I'm ready to do money, I'm ready to do investments, I'm ready to do good times, happy days, no more waiting on all this stuff, and all of that can be here. So we'll see what you guys do with it. Okay. This seems to be coming in. Yeah, I want to say there's a lot of talk of this coming in closer in the upcoming year and maybe mixed in with a bunch of other people. So don't overlook someone who's a little bit quiet or hesitant. Sometimes, and this is a general message for everyone, sometimes we want to go with the person who is more assertive or outspoken. We take that as a show of intent, to contribute to the relationship. And it isn't. It isn't. It's just a sign that they're probably, they have more ego, right? Or they like the chase more. It's not a sign of consistency or even desirability to be with you in any long-term way whatsoever. Then we dismiss the people who are a little bit more on the sidelines or quiet or a little bit more hesitant. And the reason sometimes people are that way is because they're not sure if they can make a relationship work. They know they're healing through some stuff. They're not really confident in their ability, to be in a loving relationship, because those are the most triggering relationships of all. It's designed that way by the universe, and they don't know that they can do well, and they don't want to waste your time. And we need to give them a little leeway on that. Okay. Don't hold too much space. You don't have to chase them down. Just be mindful of it. What looks good is not necessarily all that glitters is not gold, All right, let's move on to another one. After my little rant there. Currently single. This is Kelly Davis, 5'10". All right. Currently single, have a pattern of getting into toxic relationships. I have finally awakened to the signs. When will I find the one for me? Okay. Well, I'm hearing it's great that you know the signs, but that doesn't equate to you having done the work. So when? Well, when you're done with this is how this looks. It will come when you're done with this. I don't want to sugarcoat. I mean, this could stretch out 5 years. So I think don't wait that long. You could be meeting up with this person as soon as 3 years, but there's a lot of activity even coming to you in 2 years out from now. So let's say from 2 to 3 years, you're dating a lot potentially. Okay. You're feeling good. I heard your cortisol's down, your metabolism's up, you're feeling good. You're kind of out there like, let's dance, let's party, like going out with the girls and just happy. I mean, you're just so happy. And so that's great. And when you're in that vibration, you just attract a lot of people, right? Like moth to a flame. Like people love that energy. They're not all good people, but people love that energy. So you're just attracting a lot for like a year. You're attracting a lot. Oh, I see what this is. This is your testing period. Okay. Let's see if you can walk the walk, because right now you're talking the talk. You're talking a lot like, I learned, I see the signs, I know it, right? My third eye, I am the wise one. But when tested, will you hold the line or will you cave and feed it again? Are you going to be able to spot someone who just wants to take from you right away and say no to it? The only way you're going to be able to, quite frankly, is if you've done the healing, because it's the parts of you that wanted it, the parts of you that wanted that destruction, that degradation, that despair, the parts of you that desperately wanted that level of rejection. You're recreating something. I'm assuming childhood. I don't know. But it's like, I want to rewrite the ending. Are you over it by that time? Because if you are, this is going to be a fun year. If you're not, you'll probably go around that mountain a couple more times. The universe is patient, right? They'll test you for 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000 lifetimes even. So we'll see what you do with that. But you could, if you do well on all of this, have the right person coming in right after, around that time. And we could see this solidified by 5 years out. So if you wanted something like monogamy, cohabitation, engagement, marital, anything, like if you want something more serious, it could happen at that time. I don't know too, if you want a log cabin, this isn't really a log cabin. I love these houses actually that are kind of in the woods, or, there's like a lot of land, but like pine trees and stuff here, like, and it feels like you're in a log cabin, and these houses are designed. Let me know in the comment section, is this an architectural type of house? I don't even know, but they're big homes. So you may be into, and this person may be into that type of lifestyle, like a gigantic log cabin, lots of wood and brick and stones and fireplaces. It's a very lovely life. Okay. If you want it, but I do think there's some work that needs to be done here, and you won't be getting your testing phase for a while. So keep working on the stuff within you that wanted that. Okay. From your past. I feel like that's a bit of a general message for you guys as well. I don't know who else needed to hear that, but okay. Even if you're watching this in video download, that was also hitting as a collective message. All right. We are going to move on to another one. Abby Hicks. Abby says, is there any relationship guidance that is meant to help me in the next few months? Okay, so I don't know what type of relationship you want me to look at, and I don't know if there's a specific person you wanted me to look at, or if you're just saying like, I'm single and I want this open, like where. Relationship for this show, you guys, is a little vague. Okay, what kind of relationship? This is with your dog? With who? What are you even talking about in this? Is there any relationship guidance that is meant to help me in the next few months? I guess I'll just kind of wing it and I'll just go with whatever comes up. Okay, Abby, any type of relationship guidance? I heard mind your own business and stay in your lane. Okay, so this could apply to whatever relationships you're referring to here in your head, but also like all of your relationships in general. And what that's going to mean is that for a while it's important for you to not like overreach or wonder what people are thinking or wonder what people are feeling. Stay out of like, well, what did they mean? Or, I felt a shift in the energy. Where is this relationship going? Stay out of all of that. Okay. You are dealing with adults. And you need to also be the adult and lead by example in relationships where it's like, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I expect out of this relationship, or this is what I require. This is what I give, da, 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 da. It's a contract. And every interaction with an adult, as much as certain people try to manipulate and confuse all of that, is immediately, I want to say, a red flag, right? If you see that level of manipulation, and should be crystal clear. It ought to be something that you feel is transparent. And that way you understand what improvements you need to make, what improvements they need to make, what improvements could be made collectively, and really what's working. You may also be looking for the next few months, critiquing, I heard, what needs to be cut. So where do contracts need to be ended? Where do cords need to be cut? Where do you need to cut the apron strings, or where do you need to let go? What exactly is going on in some relationships where the agreements between the two of you have ended up being lopsided, so that there's no longer balance and you're not getting out of them what you thought you were or what was agreed upon. You are dealing with some people who are sleepy. They are sleeping on the job. Now, I'm sure they're sleeping in all areas of their life, because if we see it in one spot, we're going to see it in other spots. Okay. I'm sure they're just a mess. But that is not your concern. Your only concern in dealing with some people is the fact that they've gotten lazy, they've gotten sloppy, they're not doing what they ought to be doing in life. And I have you saying, like, your higher mind saying, like, I'll be damned if I let that wear off on me, or I have to suffer the karmic consequences for it. Like that type of sloppiness is like gum on the bottom of your shoe. We regularly have to go out and clear people out of our lives who don't know how to grow, who don't know how to change, who are just sloppy. They're stagnant by choice, whatever. Because it starts to affect your money. It starts to affect, your karma, your energy, and what you engage in any way, shape, or form, you get more of. So I see you analyzing that more strictly going forward. Okay. I would, and cut what needs to be cut loose. And some of these may take themselves out. Sometimes in situations like this, all you really have to say is like, spirit, remove them. They're not doing anything. Get them out of here. And that will happen. Okay. So I don't see big blowouts or tower moments as much as it's just a shift and a little bit of a pruning of dead branches so that you can grow more fruit in all areas. Okay. We are going to move on to another one. And this is on TikTok. All right. TikTok. It's YZ9UO. All right, so TikTok, again, this is YZ9UO. My best friend / roommate is currently in a newer relationship, and things have been different between us. I'm starting to feel a resentment. Does she care about our friendship? YZ9UO. Okay. And Diana, just make sure you are getting first names or at least initials, okay? Especially when we're talking about a lot of people involved in this situation. Just make sure you go back and get those. But I can ride off of this just the way it is on this particular question. So does she care about the friendship? You're starting to feel resentment. Does she care about the friendship? I'm gonna be totally honest. This friend has shown you a pattern in the past. Not to say maybe you haven't done it too, but you guys may have heavily focused on centering love partners, and it may have been the basis of a lot of discussion in the relationship, very kind of Sex in the City, where that show, it just, I don't know, whatever. I mean, but they had so many different, and I get that was the nature of the show, but think of the way that they centered men so much that they almost at times seemed to have like no goals, no self-awareness, no personality even sometimes, so it was like, well, why is this always the center? And it was very reflective. It was extremely accurate to the way women were at the time, but not anymore. We've deconstruction of the patriarchy, we've decentered men, we've moved on, whatever it is. We are understanding more. I mean, even if we're talking about someone who's like gay or in the LGBTQ community, it doesn't matter. Like, they have also had the same revolution, and that's what I see going on here, is that it's like, we're not going to center romantic love as the core belief, that all of our achievements in life are of value only if we are picked, we are chosen, we have this thing, we've attained this goal. It's seen now as being relatively useless and toxic, really, because it comes from bad roots, bad history of manipulation and enslavement even. So it's like you are growing out of that, and when I see Sex of the City, when I think back to the episodes I've seen, I think of the redhead, who would often get angry at the other women for just talking about men, or the blonde who would focus more on like her orgasm, her sex life, detached relationships, appreciating them, yes, but being detached from getting locked down. You're evolving into those two women, and it's like and this is where I think the resentment, as you call it, is coming from. And my jaw, I don't know if you guys just heard that, but like, my jaw is popping, which means this is causing her tension. And it's causing you tension. So be careful grinding your teeth. But it's like she's devolving. Now, a lot of people devolve when they get in a relationship. That's why a lot of people have chosen to stay out for the rest of their lives, because everything in their life decreases and falls apart, right? They devolve. It's like consuming. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. It's not all about this person that she's with. It's about her. It's about you growing and her not growing at the same pace. And it suggests other problems. And quite frankly, I think you've known it. I think you've looked at other patterns. You've looked at other areas where this has happened, and you can't shrink yourself. I always say to my clients that it's really important that we stick with our kind. And what I mean by that is try to stay with other people who are at the same level of awareness as you are, and move at the same growth rate, because growth rate determines everything about where this future friendship, relationship of any kind can and will go. So she's stagnating out. It's not a good relationship either. So she's stagnating out. Okay. I'm sorry. That is painful. Does she care about the friendship? Well, I mean, my interpretation of this is, as long as it serves her, that's as far as she cares about it at this time, because there is some level of competition and jealousy coming up here, and again, it may not even be something she's really processing. It's sort of subconscious. It's an underlying root issue here that's brewing. It has been and will continue to do so. So if she were to hear this reading, she may be like, that's so off base, but I assure you, give it 6 months and you tell me if it's off base. It's not. Okay. So, which tells me she's not even really fully aware of it yet. You're kind of working with nothing here. I mean, you got nothing to work with here. Do what's best for you. Okay. Do what's best for you. You can, it's really hard to talk to someone about things like this when they don't seem to be open or receptive or, in alignment. And that says it all. So if you have had discussions about it, if you can't have any more discussions about it, you need to move forward, giving the friendship room to breathe, let the chips fall where they may, but detach yourself from the pain it's causing. Okay. And you'll be fine. You're lovely, and you're kind of radiating a really cool vibe, actually, that I think a lot of people will be drawn to in 2026 and 2027 and like the first 2 quarters of 2028. So run with it. Okay. Maybe it's time for you to get out there and like shake it up, find some new people, be around some new environments, do some new stuff. Okay. Because normally you would have just like done stuff with her. Well, let's get out there and try some new things and people and places and opportunities. Okay, let's move on to another one. This is from Kelly Davis. This is a testimony. So Kelly Davis 510 says, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You're welcome, Kelly. I appreciate you too. Marade 1024 says, I just went back to listen to my reading. You mentioned seeing me drink a margarita with a sugared rim. I rarely ever drink, but had a hankering for that exact cocktail the other day. You are so funny. It sounds really good, doesn't it? I don't even know I've ever ordered one, but like now I want one too. What are you getting us into? Marie said, thank you. You are so welcome. We'll have fun with it. I think it's even a fun drink. It kind of symbolizes the energy of the whole experience, right? The whole vibe. Love that. All right, let's see what else is coming in here. This is on TikTok. This is Tiffany Williams. Do I continue to be patient? No, I'm going to tell you right now, no, with Steve, or do I just go on with my life? Just go on with your life. But since you paid $10, I'll stretch this out a little bit more, okay? I'll tell you why. First of all, he's a bit of a slob in that he does not have any plans nor any guilt, okay, in regards to this. He has no plans to do better by you. He likes to pretend he doesn't know what you want, or he twists things, gaslighting, let's call it what it is, to make it seem like he didn't understand, you didn't clearly, you putting things on you, blaming you, like you didn't clearly communicate what you meant, what you need, what you expect, and you have. Sister, you have till you were blue in the face. You really should have dropped this person, and we don't have to get stuck on the past. I'm just going to say it. Should have dropped this person after they showed you the first red flag, because that red flag was one you had seen 6 other times in other people, other times, okay, that you wasted, the last 3 even. You just did this. So when someone shows you a red flag, there's a part of you, and this is where your healing journey begins. Why on earth did I just decide to like collect that red flag? And then like, oh, there's another one. I'm just collect that. And then I'm gonna collect this one. It's like, what in you is kind of wanting to make yourself cry? Why it's like almost self-abusive, really. I think that this is a wake-up call. I hope it is for you, to once and for all be done with that part of yourself that has a desire to get a ticket to the circus and just allow these clowns to trample all over you, and understand 100% when they're being manipulative. You understand 100% when your intuition, your gut is telling you no, run, cut them off. This is disrespect. And you deny yourself. You deny your higher mind. Okay. You allow for these things to go on. So he is also the type of person to just try to find a bunch of other sources, which is like a narcissistic, and I can't prescribe or diagnose. It's a narc technique. Where people like that just instead of doing better by you, because he never intended to, but instead of doing better by you, when he starts to feel like you're going to pull your energy away, you're not going to be as much of a source that he can suck energy out of, right? You won't be there for him emotionally. You won't be there for him, whether it be like financially. You won't be there to stroke his ego by responding to his stupid texts or laugh at his dumb jokes or whatever, right? Say it's like okay when he's bad in bed. As soon as he realizes he's not going to have that, he'll just go looking for other people. He will not, no matter what he says, take it to the therapist, do the shadow work, right? Get the Viagra. I mean, none of it, like none of it. No. And a lot of his problems too, like whether it be like hygiene, mental health, ED, a lot of this is because he isn't processing any of that stuff. And now it's like visible physically on him in a million different ways. It's like manifesting. And so he's going to be even more likely to latch on to other victims. Don't be one. Just don't even entertain this. And he will never go away. He will just keep, I see it like swatting a fly and then there was larva laid in your fruit bowl. You know what I mean? So like now you have more flies in the house. He just keeps coming back around. You would have to, with this person, go no contact. You would have to. All right, Tiffany, good luck with that. We have a lot of eye-opening romantic stuff coming up tonight. I think a lot of people are at a place right now where they're realizing who they are, you know, and why they don't want to repeat old patterns anymore. It's very liberating and it's actually quite exciting. YZ9UO on TikTok says, thank you so much. You really reassured everything I have been feeling and thinking. I appreciate it. You are very welcome. Losing a friend is hard. We hope it can repair, but we have to treat those relationships just like every other relationship. Don't forget also to grieve, you know, if you start to feel the relationship kind of going more in opposite directions, like allowing yourself to grieve is really important for your healing. This is for Mark on YouTube, AKA Nature Calls You. Okay, Mark, Nature Calls You. What does Spirit say about my relationship with trees, plants, and nature? Okay, a couple different things. You have a lot of native roots. You were also a dog at one point, but I'm seeing a wolf at another point. And something about elephants, but I don't think you were an elephant. I think you lived amongst elephants. Is this Africa? Where are the elephants? Yeah, they're in Africa. Is this the Sahara? Sahara? Huh. Okay. So a couple different things. Your relationship to nature is sort of at the root of who you are. So when you go out and pick up leaves or mow the lawn or walk barefoot or sit on your porch or, you know, walk in the snow. I mean, literally anything. You take walks around your neighborhood, you go down to the water, you go into the woods, you climb mountains, okay? And landscapes are a big deal for you. Like open fields, I mean, like, I don't know what, the Midwest type in America here, you know, that type of image. I think that what happens for you is that you connect to an almost like primal, you know, part of your higher mind that is connected to your past lives and all the guidance you've ever received from nature. So nature is the ultimate guide, right? Nature is the ultimate healer. Nature puts us in touch with our higher mind, spirit, the universe, our ancestors. We become connected to everything in the universe through nature. And you know this. This is so innate in you. You know it at such a fundamental level that it's really the core of who you are. So I think that there isn't anything you could ever do in your life that doesn't highly involve nature. Now, sometimes you're put in situations where you don't get enough of it. And so you have to kind of go create that connection yourself, but I feel like you always do. I feel like if you don't for even I keep seeing 2. I was going to say 2 weeks, but I don't even think you could go that long. I was going to say 2 days at this stage in your life. You you have to reconnect to nature. So yeah, you've got like a 48-hour limit. But I think that the fact that you have a lot of native blood and native roots, indigenous roots, in this life with you as Mark now does suggest you may want to, if you're not super familiar with it, you may want to look into that more, your DNA and whatnot. But that is also, it feels like connected to a past life where you were an elder, you were a tribal leader, where you helped others come together in what were nature ceremonies, mostly at night. So I see a fire and everyone contributing something, everyone bringing something in from nature. Okay, roots, leaves, fruits, berries, rocks, wood, like whatever, flowers, animals, bugs, skins, organs. This is gross. Ew. There's some type of contribution, okay, going on in these ceremonies that you would have led that were based on also the 4 elements, okay, the 4 elements of nature. And this is what you did. All right. So you helped everyone to manifest. It was almost like calling on, the gods of nature, so to speak, to give us what we need, give us what we require to survive and thrive, and then also to bring healing to people and to release any, I'm hearing, demons that they would have had. So negative spirits that would have gotten in or gotten attached to them, through things like hate or grief or despair, fear. So it was like releasing. So you were, a shaman of sorts. And I think you were also a dog or a wolf at one point. And you had, in another life, lived among the elephants. Yeah. It was like the elephants accepted you like one of their own. So there's no way in this life. I do wonder if you at this point are thinking of teaching this to other people. Okay, I would. I mean, also hearing the sounds of nature, the sounds of nature. Okay, the sounds of nature, which is different from place to place and whatever season we're in. There's a lot of depth here. Yeah. Yep. Healing, trees, plants, nature. Yeah, healing for sure. Paranormal work as well. All right. Thank you for that question. And Angel 2816 says, is there a soulmate on the other side that I never met in this life? A Jeff came in for me before, but I don't know. Okay. So Angel, soulmate Jeff on the other side. Okay. So what I'm getting with this is that you are hearing from your soulmate, not because they're deceased, but because we tend to communicate with those we have contracts with, mostly in the sleep state. All right. So most of the work that we do with people, we are designed in our life contract to come together with. We do in astral travel, and we do through visit dreaming. We can also do quite a lot through lucid dreaming, which is just deliberate attempts at dreaming. I think that's what's going on here. So I often say, like, this is a great example of this, that you will receive, if you're going to have a baby, right? I always say you're going to have 3 presenting dreams. The grandmothers used to talk about this. You will see your baby before the pregnancy even occurs. But it's the same thing with a soulmate. So before a soulmate enters in, you have 3 presenting dreams where you will recognize them. Now, sometimes they're in the body that they were in last time you guys were together. So if they don't look exactly like what you want, or they don't look anything like what they do when they actually show up in your life, don't be alarmed by that and don't dismiss it. It is just just normal. Okay. So, anyways, they could look like the past. And you're really wanting to base the connection on them and their identification through the energy. All right. So, like their personality and their mannerisms, right? Their characteristics, how they make you feel, what you guys are doing together, even things like where you are. All right. So, yes, absolutely. So, the answer is yes. You have a soulmate on the other side connecting with you, but they are not passed on. Okay. They are living and you will be coming together in the future. So I like to suggest keeping a journal on this, not just for like romantic partners that we're going to meet, but anyone you have showing up in your dreams. And again, remember the bodies can look different because we're reborn with the same people, right? That's just how it works. So often in our sleep state, we're picking up where we left off. And yeah, mark down, what were we doing? Where were we? What was the vibe, and then what is their characteristics, personality, that I noticed the most. How did they make me feel? All of these things are really important. So fun. We get this a lot with our soul tribe members. You're always with this group of people and you're always working on something and you're always in this meeting or you're always in this building and there's always like a smorgasbord of food going on and there's always like something else happening over here and we're getting ready for the next thing and then we're back together in these rooms and we're having more meetings and we're all working on something and I'm helping you and they're helping me and all our guides are also connected and it's like, who are these people? Who are these people? Okay, they're members of your soul tribe. Let's move on to Maddie Bubs. Love this name. It's so cute. Okay, Maddie Bubs says, what are John's thoughts on going to Park City, Utah, and where he'll stay? What are John's thoughts on going to Park City, Utah, and where he'll stay? Okay, so we're jumping into, I don't know if this is a relationship question, but well, maybe John and his relationship to Utah. What is the name of this again? Park City. Okay, Park City, Utah. How does John feel about Park City, Utah, and where he's going to be staying? I don't really feel like he cares very much, but he does seem to have a stomach in knots. This may not be someone who enjoys either travel at the time he has to do this or travel in general to places like this. There is something causing him nervousness. And I don't think necessarily that's tainting the whole situation. I don't think he's allowing it to make him like recoil or back down. He seems to be able to kind of identify. There's this mentality with him. There's almost an attitude of like, well, I have to get this done. Well, I have to go. Well, I have to get there. So like, I'm not going to pay attention to this. I'm not going to allow myself to get caught up in whatever like nervousness I have. It's almost like he's totally trying to deny it. But I do wonder if to some degree that's wise, because this is largely connected to some past experiences, past life, previous in this life. And it's then emotionally triggering in such a way that just doesn't seem very productive. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. And so it's like, well, why pay any attention to that if I need to get this done? So I think he does know what he needs to do. I also hear in his head off like a Band-Aid. So he may be doing some planning in this situation that feels like whatever he has to leave behind and whatever must change, it's very much off like a Band-Aid. Okay, whatever he needs to book, however he needs to go forward, it's again, it's feeling a little bit like that's a little bit of a tense symbolism there. That's like, I don't want to do this, I have to do this. So that's his thinking. Yeah. And then I think he's okay with it. Okay. So then he's fine. This reminds me a little bit of like having nerves about like public speaking or starting a new job or getting into a new relationship, or getting on the phone. For those of us that are neurodivergent, with it's such torture to get on the phone and have to do a phone call. But once you're there for like 50 seconds, it starts to feel very natural and normal. And you're like, okay, I'm settled in now. Everything's fine. And that's how I see that. That's how I see him feeling. Yeah. All right. Do we have any other ones coming in? Well, what is going on? Hello. Hi, Mama. Esmeralda Marie has joined us from her 6-hour nap. She has been trying to jump up on these chairs, and I had arms. She was like falling off. And so I got this chair hoping she'll jump up, but I don't know. We'll see. Nature calls you 4645. This is just a testimony. Says, wow, so many things line up with my intuition on past lives and current life around this. I think this was the one on nature. Thank you, Ivy. Incredible and very helpful. Okay, you are so welcome. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's a great question. And again, great example of any type of question you can ask. Your relationship to anything else, even a part of you, my relationship to my own self, a pet, okay? Family, friends, bosses, coworkers, anything goes. It doesn't have to be romantic. Thank you so much for that testimony. And always, thank you for being here. You have great energy. Okay, looks like we have a couple more coming in. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm. Let me know especially where you're tuning in from. And if you want to book a love and relationship reading privately, go onto my website, ivyriverapsychicmedium.com to do so. I'm ready whenever you are, Diana. CJG has a question. Oh, also these are unlimited. So if you see some people popping up and it's like, wait, didn't they already ask one? Yes, it's unlimited tonight. I can't always do it, but I can tonight. What relationships at my current place of employment are collaborative partnerships? Okay. Collaborative. I see 3 actually. One who seems to be like a higher up, 2 that are connected and more like lateral to you. Okay. And I want to say female, blonde hair. This can also mean they color their hair. So take that how it resonates. A male who is maybe darker hair, salt and pepper. Feels very in touch also with his feminine side. So he may appear as like gay or just a very well balanced male. He doesn't come off with like a lot of testosterone energy. It's a little softer. Yes, Mama. We love you. We were waiting for you. You know it. You can come up. You can come up. And then when we talk about, so those are the 2 that are connected. And then when we talk about the one from higher up, this feels like, and I keep seeing a Black woman in here also. So we may have 2 with the higher ups, or this may change and shift. This is a little bit of free will, a lot of hands in the pot, I like to say. So some of this is destiny charted, but also like how exactly it plays out for you is a little bit manipulated on this one particular point. So we'll see. So this could be a Black woman. She feels a little bit larger, like kind of busty and pretty funny. She's just real straight to the point. She's got like a big bottom lip, like a cute, I almost want to say like not a pointy chin exactly, but like her jawline is kind of arched up. Beautiful hands, sometimes red nails. So she may like do her nails. Red nails, though, in my symbol base are just symbolic of power, power, power. I'm also seeing it on her right hand. Power out, power out, power out. She's extremely strategic, very well educated, maybe two degrees, two higher up degrees, and knows her way around the office or the field. Okay. So these nails don't have to be literal. They could be. But this is also symbolic of healing hands. So she also has a very healing personality. She seems to keep her cards close to her vest. You know, she's not always talking and like super friendly and chatty, but she may be with you. And and I'm just trying to see if it's going to be her or this other person. I don't know. This isn't written yet. Okay. But anyways, it's coming there as well. If it's not her, holy shit, my right ear. Okay. Okay, I see what's happening here. You need to use your psychic ability. Pay attention to right ear ringing, okay? Right ear ringing, tinnitus, feeling of pressure, like a seashell's up to your ear or whatever. Airplane goes up or comes down. You know, that feeling of pressure. This is when the right ear rings. The grandmothers used to say, left for love, right for spite, and that was fairly accurate. I don't like to think of every time my right ear rings, it's spite and something horrible is going to happen per se. They were a little bit dark with that, but it could be warnings. I like to think of it as your psychic ability activating. Maybe your work and money guide telling you something. Okay. Pay attention to the thoughts that come in your head right after that ear rings. But also, this is about you choosing, is what I'm hearing. You know, this is from your work and money guide and your relationship guide, working in cahoots on this. It's about what you choose. It's about what you prefer. And so I have to plug in my phone because I didn't realize it's been running on nothing this entire time. I can't believe TikTok held up. So I'm going to answer this and then I'm going to plug that in real quick. But it's about what you prefer. And this is all that glitters is not gold. Who offers the better contract? Do I want to wait on something and see if something better comes? Because there is also a gentleman here who you may choose to work with, who I feel is in a higher up position. Seems a little bit slow, a little bit older, you know, like middle age, just a little bit like taking my time, never in a rush. You could bring stuff to this guy and be like, oh my God, look at this mess. Here's a pile of ish that has to be dealt with. And he's just like, I'll get to it in a minute. You know, I heard you. Like there's just, this is total control. Both of these people in totally polar opposite ways and personalities and bodies and everything, but they're the same in that. Okay. So these are power players. Yeah. So that's what I see. Okay. Quite a few different opportunities, but you may not, there's something about that taking you out of where you are too. Okay. So I'm just going to yell the rest of this while I plug this in, but there is something about that taking you out of where you are. So that could bring about, sorry, mama, jump rope. It could take you out of a position. I'm sure that would be given, but maybe literally out of the entire like place and atmosphere, you know, where you are. So that could mean several different things. Hello. Yeah. I feel good about this. This may be unfolding in the upcoming year, but I also feel like 1 to 3 years total, this unfolds and leads to other things. I also heard put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. If there's anything you're debating on investing on, whether this be like an expansion on your titles, research, certification, you know, trainings, education, like now would be the time. Making yourself as presentable and desirable as possible among the competition. But there really is none, I'm hearing. Don't rest on your laurels. I probably wasn't supposed to say that part out loud. Okay, let's move on to another one. Good luck. What else do we have? This one is on YouTube. This is for Kelly Davis. Kelly says, what does my near future love life look like? Okay, Kelly, love life, near future. I would say that you could find yourself talking to someone. There's talk of the next 3 weeks, or in 3 weeks, I think is more accurate. In 3 weeks. Okay. You could find yourself talking to someone who wants to give more. I heard display more, which could be like a display of affection. It could be someone who wants to testify, like I'm showing you my love, I'm giving you my love, this is what I think about you, poetry, not literally, I doubt, I would really highly doubt, okay, but like some type of written, probably more like a text in 2026, let's be real, because I see him with like a funny old McDonald hat with like a feather and like writing with a feather pen, this, on this scroll, this like love to you. But it's more like I admire your beauty and your wisdom and your creativity, and you're always with such great energy. You're always like changing, or you excite me, and I feel passionate toward you. It's all the things. And then but it's like a text, and it instead comes through as sort of like, this feeling that this person is saying all the right words and is clearly trying to downplay those words, almost to make it seem as though they don't want to admit it, or they're not comfortable being this vulnerable. But it's almost like through their omission or their retraction that you realize it feels a little manipulated. There's something about it that is inauthentic. It does not hit energetically. All right. So there's something about this person where you are supposed to, this is the next one you're supposed to be engaging with for lessons and growth and, good times. But I do think that you want to make sure that when someone gives you some type of compliment or tells you about how you make them feel, that it resonates with you in such a way where you really feel seen, you really feel heard, you really feel appreciated, not just maybe desired. Is that the best way to say that? Like, what do I care? I don't know. Like, that's the kind of feeling I get from this. It's like, oh, well, I'm hearing you. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't know what's going on with this. Like, I don't know why you would entertain something that you don't care about, is a good way to say this. So you could find yourself in the near future. All right. Because your question is, what's coming up for me in love in the near future? You could find yourself in the near future dealing with, a love partner, love partners, where you're kind of recognizing that you have some level of detachment, and that could be coming, don't self-blame, not in this case. This could be coming from a realization that the way this person feels toward you is irrelevant. That's not a great sign. It doesn't mean you aren't supposed to, learn about the dynamics, because there was attraction there. There is some level, this feeling that we're supposed to be engaging in this. But I think when you recognize, I don't really care, you need to start looking at what else. Well, then what am I here for? What am I supposed to be learning? What am I supposed to be doing with this? What's the point? Okay, so ask those questions. You may have someone else you're talking to. Also shortly after that, where you're feeling like go, 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 they're like chopping wood, and then they're working on a car, and then they're over here doing this, and then there's something electrical, and then they're building on a room, and then they're doing some kind of construction, or like putting up walls. What are those walls? Dry walls? It's like I'm drywalling, and then I'm over here, and you're just like, my God. Okay, you could be talking to someone else who's like constantly doing something, but they're never really there near you. So you may wonder, like, are they really, or are they talking to other people? How many people are they dating? Like, what are they really up to? It'd be hard to track this person down. But I feel like they're being authentic with you. I think this is someone who is just very active and very honest and genuine. And now if that person just even dropped you a breadcrumb, you would be eating that up. Okay. And that's what we're talking about here. That's the type of jive we need. All right. So a little bit of a trial and error going on here for a while. None of it bad, though. None of it. Just different. What's the point? What is this telling me? Okay. I'm doing last call. So if you guys want to drop your donation in question, now is the time. And if you want to book a reading with me, I do work internationally, so it doesn't have to just be a love and relationship reading. I do everything: past life, pet readings. I do medical intuitive work, psychic mediumship. I also offer Reiki and psychic surgery and different things, paranormal consultations. Okay, so you name it, I do it. It's up on the website, ivyriverapsychicmedium.com. And because I work internationally, it's a super simple self-booking system, and there are hours available really for anyone. Now, if you are in like India, sometimes it's a little bit of a mess, and so you can always get a video reading if you prefer that. Okay, and email readings are available. Is this another paid question? Okay, this is the next one we have. Maddie Bubs. Okay, Maddie Bubs wants to know, can you tap into John's energy about us? Okay. So let me go into John's energy and see how he feels about, he seems to be a little bit detached in this relationship. He seems to have a very matter of fact type of energy toward this relationship. It feels a bit like a bond where there are moments he feels are very advantageous for him, where you emotionally support him, but he doesn't necessarily clock that as he should, as like massively important. He just sort of takes it as like, yeah, it's like matter of fact. I don't love it. I think that how do I want to say this? You offer a lot. He certainly gains more out of this relationship than you will. 100%. Okay. But it would help if sometimes when you give something to him, or you love him, or you hold space for him, okay, or you help him, you support him, you're giving labor. Every time you do that, it's labor, it's energy, it's an investment. It would help if he recognized it. Now, he may say the right things, or you may have this attitude with him of like, well, men don't always show it. Let's leave that in the past. Let's leave that in the 50s. Okay. They better show it, and they better show it through more than like, okay, if you push me and threaten to leave, I'll start contributing more. No. They better show it every day, all day, in all the ways that you do, in equal balance or even more. Okay. And he's just not there. I mean, he seems in a lot of ways to not be there. I do wonder if he's dealing with some stuff. I don't wonder. It's a guarantee. He's dealing with some stuff from like his past. He's dealing with some unfinished business. He's dealing with some childhood wounds. He's dealing with some relationship drama. He's dealing with a lot of things in regards to his own self-abuse or self-degradation or low self-esteem. He's dealing with a lot of things from the past that pop up like whack-a-mole and crabgrass, and he like quick bats them down. It's like, I'm not going to pay attention to this right now. I'm not going to pay attention to this. But that is not processing. That is not healing. That is not evolution. And that won't lead to him being, how do I want to say that? Maybe on the growth rate that you would hope. And you're just never to like overreach in that, let me help you grow. Let me mentor you. Let me help you change, none of this. You have to be real careful with that type of stuff. I had an ex reach out to me a little while ago after years, who was like, I think I want you to like kind of help me. And I was like, hell no, I'm not helping you. Like go book a reading, like go onto don't call me to help you. You know what I mean? Like, how outrageous. And this is someone who would just like, just happily take it. It's like, I gave you enough. You know what I mean? I think you have to, at all times when dealing with people like this, you have to understand that they're not bad people necessarily, but they were definitely trained up to believe that they can get your labor and not really appreciate it, not believe that they have to pay it back because they're entitled to it in some capacity. He has an entitlement attitude. All right. And so it is your responsibility to hold yourself accountable and critique it throughout the day, every day. That's what you do. You measure it. Now it's funny because I remember with this ex, I remember the day I heard, "You're done. Give him nothing more. He's gotten enough." And I was like, wow, really? I didn't even notice, because I can, especially as a Cancer sun, I can give and give and give. And it's not whether you can, it's should you. And I just remember hearing clear as day, my higher mind say to me, now you're done. You give him nothing else. Make him earn anything else you're going to give him. Make him earn it. And I lost attraction at that point. So whatever. But I think that what happens in a situation like this is that if you can, Maddie, if you can control the ebb and flow, and you can, it's a choice. If you control the ebb and flow, you're giving within proper balance with him. I think you can encourage more development in that area, not because you're teaching and leading him, but because you're setting an example for where your standards lie. Okay. So keep that in mind. It's okay. I mean, it's not a bad, relationship, but this is the most major thing that's coming up. It will need to be dealt with. And we do have two different growth rates here for sure. Okay. Meaning you grow. Edgar, on YouTube, what messages does spirit, my guides, my ancestors want me to know right now regarding relationships or friendships? Okay, Edgar, any messages on relationships, friendships, any messages? You have a gentleman who comes through, feels like an uncle, giving you a red heart. I do feel also like a red rose, which is a happy birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be passing anniversary. Take it how it resonates. You may be seeing him in a dream. Sometime he had sort of like scruff or goatee, other times not. So it's a little debatable here. Nice full head of hair. May have gone a little salt and pepper, but it was like quite dark. Yeah, he's a cutie. And I think, hello. A lady coming through here feels like abuela energy and is very sort of soft spoken, may not have said much at all. She looks a little tired, but if you would have sat down with her, you would have seen the light in her eyes and how much energy she actually had and how many stories she had and opinions she had. And, she would talk. She's a lot of fun. I have them both stepping in here, and your relationship guide and your joy guide, who watches over your mental and emotional well-being and your spiritual development. There are 4 key relationships in, I don't know if you put a time frame on this, but I'm hearing 2026 going into the first few weeks of 2027, maybe even the first 2 quarters. And these are spiritual connections. So you have you can come up. You have some soul tribe connections. You have a soul mate connection. You have some work contracts with these people is what this means. And it would be best for you to really give them the time, attention, and energy that they I heard require, but I was going to say deserve. Like, we want to honor these contracts, these relationships. 2 of them feel heavily work related. So this could be like, okay, we're working. One feels like a male, one feels like a female. We are able, through the work that we do together, to evolve and expand our friendship. And it feels very, very natural. You may also be dealing with what feels like there is some level of soulmate contract here also with someone in management or someone in a position to help you elevate, who watches over you almost like if you were their kid, and I think the ages are actually fairly similar. But this person, I feel female energy, watches over you. Like, how can I get him to where he deserves to be? Not where he needs to be, where he deserves to be. And that's special. I also feel like you should be putting more time. I'm hearing the 8th month. What is that? August? What is the 8th month? July, August? The 8th month, I'm hearing in the 8th month, you will hit a bit of a peak with friendships, and people are going to be available for different social interactions at like parties or engagements. And they may also be asking you. So more people asking you to have fun. And I think really then you may have gotten a lot of things done and out of the way by then, like work and different tasks you're doing in your personal life, okay, transitions that need to happen. And it's sort of like, yeah, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to hang out with these people, possibly also getting into some new activities. This could be like something physical, whether it be like dance or sport. And I feel like relationships for a while are going to be really nice and supportive, just in general. Whereas in the past, they've been very judgmental and harsh or hard or cold or competitive and jealous. Like the relationships you had in your life up until recently were all those things that I just mentioned. And then the elevation was into jealousy. Okay, so you started attracting people after that because you elevated out of that. You didn't let it hold you down. Okay, and your loved ones are really proud of you. Your guides are proud of you. But as you elevated, then you started to attract like competition and jealousy. And it's like, okay, you know what? This is all trash. Like, this is where you just want to do a clean sweep and be like, I don't want anything like what I had in my past. I want authentic connection. And that's really going to come through your willingness to continuously share more about you, not come from that wounded place of like my past, experiences with humans was disappointing to say the least, most of the time or a lot of the time. But you're saying like, I want to share with people, share parts of me. So I don't care if it's like your humor, something spontaneous, you want to say, if it's your insight into something. I think it's important for you to show that level of kind of vulnerability because it really is, to solidify these connections. It looks good. It looks real good. Ezzy is up on the table underneath some of these cameras. So I don't know. You guys may be looking at the floor in a minute. Ezzy, be careful, please. Should you be up there? No. The answer is no. Can you get down, please? Get down. Please. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. What a good girl. What a good girl. Oh, I love you. Do we have any other ones? Come here, you good girl. Oh, the baby. Maddie. Okay, Maddie, this is a testimony. So Maddie Bubs says, haha, he does have an entitlement issue. Oh, this John guy. Yeah. And that ish runs deep, sister. Deep. You don't owe anything, okay? Start gauging it. Every single little thing. You want to text back. You want a night together. You want this. You want that. Gauge everything. Get petty about it, girls. Get petty. It's time. Because we know where it came from. Meridian Junkie says, or is my love inauthentic or am I afraid to commit? Was this about a reading I did? I don't remember that name. Is this a paid question or what is that, Diana? Is that just a testimony? Oh, this is paid? Okay. Or it starts with the word or, like we were in the middle of a conversation. So I don't know if I'm reading it wrong or if it was typed up wrong. Or is my love inauthentic? Or am I afraid to commit? Okay. I'm just going to kind of wing this one, I guess. Is my love inauthentic? A little bit. Am I afraid to commit? Well, I mean, are you? You're asking me. Like, you don't need a psychic to tell you if you're afraid to commit. Right? Like, if you're asking that, you already know whether or not you're afraid to commit. I think that I'll jump in your energy though and give some clarity here. So, and this is for Meridian Junkie. Meridian Junkie. Okay. Is my love inauthentic? I would say, honestly, when I'm looking at your concept of love, it doesn't feel much like love. It feels very much like duty. I have to give this. I'm responsible for giving this. I guess I will give this type of feeling. It also feels like it's on deadline, so it may not last, which suggests there's often a pattern of roller coaster type energy, inconsistency, lack of foundation or stability in it. So you give it, you take it away, you just sort of, there doesn't seem to be much rhyme or reason to that. It's whatever you feel. So you may base who and what you love based on how you love based on your emotions, which is just fickle in humans. Just remember this. Here's a good way to say this. Love, and I'll get on to the second part of your question. Love is a choice. Love is an action. Love is a decision. Love is not a feeling. And adult relationships are transactional with love. So the entitlement or desire that you sometimes feel for unconditional love is something that a parent gives to a child. After the parent to child phase is over, all love after that is transactional between humans, which is fine. So keep that in mind. Okay. I think more could be given in an authentic way from you. Are you afraid to commit? Are you afraid to commit? I don't even know that you are really afraid to commit. I just think that you don't want to commit. I think that's all. I don't think you want it. And you don't have to have it. There's no need. There are plenty of us out there who don't ever plan to commit. Think back to your childhood. The way I knew I would probably never commit, or I would only be committing for brief periods of time, or it would have to be an absolutely dynamic fit for me to be doing it long term. The way I knew that was because in my childhood, I never wanted it. I never thought of it a day in my life. I didn't play house. I didn't play marriage. I didn't play white picket fence. I didn't play, let's get together, get married, have the kid. I never even thought about things like that. And when I watched other people who wanted it, or I had friends who wanted it, even the friends I kept didn't really want it. But when I saw other people want it, and as I got older and I witnessed other people wanting it or focusing on it or even doing it, I was completely disinterested. I think you have to be honest about who you are. You are looking to do a bunch of other things in life that don't necessarily involve getting locked down in some slew of contracts, verbal, government, mortgages, and otherwise. If you don't want to, just admit that you don't want to. It's not a crime. I do think that you sometimes feel bad about this because you like the company, you like the security and all the perks of having someone there who's going to sort of give you that unconditional love or make you feel as though this is, a secure situation. But you don't really want to, you don't want to pay the bill to have it. And so it's better off to be completely honest, that you won't be. Okay. Let's see. We have any other ones coming in? This is from Vanetta Booker. Vanetta Booker. Will Ronnie and I be together? I don't think you will be together in the way you're thinking. I think there is a possibility to get together. And I think that it could involve some of the connection that you're looking for, but it may not involve the stability, the longevity, and it may not have the growth potential to turn into more. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. So it feels a bit like it falls flat. And I think you've already had enough proof in the relationship dynamic with this person that they're sort of in another world. They're in a world of their own, or they're off, they're at a distance, and they are unmotivated, unable at this point, I would honestly say. And I think you need to examine that. They're unable to come together with you. They are not making it happen. Okay. And so, can there be some connections here and there? Yeah, but I don't think that's all you want. I don't think that's what you want. You may be willing at this point to kind of take whatever and see if we can work with it. Is it something I can try to, is it I'm hearing malleable, or is it some malleable? Malleable is can I work with this? It's like Play-Doh, or mud. It's well, can I make a pot out of this? And it's like, why is it your job to make a pot out of it? What would you even do with it? You know what I mean? Like, why would we want to manipulate all that? So I think you have this idea that if it comes near you in a significant enough way, you can kind of hold on to it and create something. And that's not your job. That's supposed to be like partnership. So just be careful there. Okay. Because you may not even be fully aware that you're thinking that or wanting that or trying to do that until those moments hit. But I think you're a little bit aware. Okay. You're aware enough to know that this person is reading quite a lot as like, kind of unavailable off on their own and not very eager to change that. And the thing with Ronnie too is Ronnie's very sort of oblivious. Ronnie is like, well, if the wind blows me, I'll go over here. And if the wind blows again, I'll go over here. And like, if you're over there, it's like, hi, now I'm over here. And then the wind blew. And so like, I'll go up over there. And it's very sort of emotionless. There's not a lot of fire in the belly there. There's not a lot of direction. There's not even a lot of like agency. It's just sort of like, whatever, this person may be numbed out. There may be some escapism and avoidance going on there as well. So maybe glug glug or I don't know, porn addiction, excessive eating, video game playing, daydreaming, relationship hopping, just a lack of passion for life, just a lack of passion. A lot of people are walking around out here that are just zombies, and you may be coming in and being like, let me rescue you. I collect zombies. I wouldn't. All right, let's see. Do we want to move on to another one? Meridian Junkie. Okay, this is the second question. So Meridian Junkie says, did I hurt my family by misreading the space they created in love? Do I have to work? I have to work. I don't love. Do I have to work? I don't love. Is that the full question? Did I hurt my family by misreading the space they created in love? Yeah, you did. Yeah. And, and I think it's from you not wanting to look deeply enough or honestly enough at yourself. So you could have, it's never too late, like by all means, you can do the shadow work, you can do the therapy, you can do the self-reflection. And right now you have a whole lot of material to work with because you can look back at everyone you've engaged with, including your family that, is hurt. And you can take notes and you can use that as a launch. Okay, to go forward. So it's a heck of a lot better than starting from a place where it's like, well, I don't understand. I think you do understand. I think that it's a lot of work to do and you aren't necessarily coming through as like wanting to do the work. So I think you're past the time though of reflecting and like, this is a time for action. So in order to receive like grace and healing and to improve the karma in your life, you're going to have to actually start doing the heavy lifting and the work. I would also just say, and this may be a general message for a lot of people, but just remember when you are going into therapy and things like this, it's not enough to just attend and throw some money at the problem or sit on the couch. It's like, I have to actually do the homework and apply, these things to my life. And the next time I'm encountering a human being and I have to choose between a high vibration and a low vibration is where the real tests come in. So just make sure, you're doing all the work that's required and not ducking out and hiding and keeping the topics in therapy super light also. Okay. This is why I love shadow work. A little heavier, a little deeper, a little darker. But I think, there's a lot of healing there, Meridian Junkie. There's a lot of healing there in regards to love. Absolutely. But again, understanding what love is at the base. At the base, it is a choice. It is not a feeling. It is an action and it comes through consistency. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that question. Do we have any more? I love you, Mama. I know I see you and I love you. Abby, this is a testimony, says absolutely, 3 exclamation marks. Lots of evaluating she's doing right now. Lots of pruning for new growth. Yes. Thank you. So many adults around me that are sloppy and spilling over the advice I needed. Thank you. Yeah, I remember seeing that with you. Lots of sloppy people. You were the one, I think I said that it's like they're all napping. It's like, what are they doing? Like, why are, people just, I don't know, phoning it in? Like, are you kidding me? But, it's always an opportunity to be like, I outgrew this, I outgrew that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. It's like, okay, you see, it makes it really crystal clear who you are and where you're headed and where you're not going to stay. So at least there's that part of it. But yeah, I've been dealing with that too. I feel you. I don't know what's up with everybody. They don't want to do the work, period. That's what's up. They don't want to do the work. And it's nothing new. They were always like that. It's just becoming more visible and obvious. And this is sort of a bit of a collective message, I feel, because sometimes we meet people and it's like, oh, okay, we can on some levels, not everything probably, but on some levels, we can work together. There is some time we're supposed to spend together. And then as you just continue to grow and they just don't, it just breaks apart, and that's okay. Angel Raven 2816. This is just a comment or a testimony from Angel Raven. So she says, this is just a comment, no reading. What if that person is married that you mentioned? I don't know what I mentioned. I don't know what you're referring to. I have what I call psychic amnesia, so I really can't remember back. And there's a lot of readings and a lot of shows, but so I don't know what that is about. Do we have any other questions or comments? I'll just say this. If any of you guys are dealing with someone who's married, and you're hoping to get together, I mean, I'm assuming that's what this kind of question is gearing toward here, leaning into, suggesting, do not toy around with that. If you want to have some bad karma for the rest of your life, go ahead and cheat with someone who's married. Go ahead and try to get in with someone who's married. Go ahead and start, manipulatively opening doors for emotional exchange, okay, with someone who's married. Go ahead and do it. See what happens to your life. Just think about it and toy with it and see how negative karmic kickback starts to come for you. And when I talk about negative karmic kickback, I'm talking about your health, your wealth, your other friendships. I'm talking about bad luck. I'm talking about everything in your life going downhill real quick. Okay. And anyone who is in a marriage and is trying to convince you ever that they're in a bad marriage and they really want to be over here with you is doing that to a bunch of other people. I do this literally 24/7. I do these types of readings. And I assure you, a lot of the people who call me, mostly men, very rarely does this ever come from a lady, but it's men, and they will book a reading with me and they want to find out how I can help them not get caught, or how I can help them cheat on their wife and essentially, abandon their children. And they're so worried about this girlfriend on the side, this chick on the side, and what's going on with her. And they become obsessed sometimes with these other women on the side. And never once have they ever, over the years, when I have told them, I'm not helping you with this, and you've got a lot of bad karma right now because of this, and all these bad things that are happening is because of this, never once have they said, well, will this bad karma hit my wife? Will any of this bad karma hit my children? Will any of this bad karma, make them suffer? And of course it will. And they never show concern for that. They just want to know how they can get out unscathed. So a lot of dark energy there. Angela Raven says, you mentioned in my reading about the delivery guy, the one I thought of is married. Oh, so what if he's married? Yeah, stay away from it. Well, I don't know. I'd have to do another reading on it to see if he's married, but that is a reading for another day. Edgar says, thank you, Ivy. Look forward to those friendships in 2026. Yes, I'm happy for you. It's going to be very exciting. And do we have any other questions or comments coming in? I think we are at time. Okay. Let me see. What are we going to be back for? So we have pet readings on Wednesday. That's the next time I will be back. So I will see you guys back here on Wednesday. Another show that you guys gave a ton of engagement to and voted in for the 2026 show lineup. So on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back here on all these platforms reading your living or past pets. It's my pet psychic show. And if you want to book something like that privately ahead of time, you can also do that up on my website. Again, if you want to book a party, a reading, a healing, or a psychic fair, go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. Have a great night. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Spirit. See you guys Wednesday.